Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Sakshi from ahintofyellow.com and the recipe that I'm sharing with you today is called Shirataki Noodles with chicken and vegetables. So if you don't know what Shirataki Noodles are, I'll leave some details in the description box below. So let's get to the recipe. So first of all, what I have here is about 500 to 600 grams of boneless and skinless chicken thighs. That's just my preference. You can use chicken breasts as well. So I'm just going to cut them in thin strips and smaller pieces because that's how I like it, but you can choose whatever size you want to cut them in. So I've just transferred the chicken to a bowl and now we're just going to marinate the chicken with a few spices and some sauces. First of all, I'm putting in about 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Then I'm going to add some garlic powder. This is about half a teaspoon of garlic powder, granulated garlic. So this is the brand that I'm using. You can choose whatever brand you have. Then I'm adding about half a teaspoon of ground pepper. This is not the powdered variety. This is a more like a pounded variety. So next I'm going to add my favorite sauce. This is the chili garlic sauce. You can alternate it with some sriracha or any other chili paste that you want. If you don't like spicy, you can completely omit this if you want. So next up I'm adding liquid aminos. This is basically a replacement for soy sauce. If you don't have this, you can absolutely use the normal soy sauce. Just add 1 teaspoon or so. Now just mix everything well together and leave it to marinate for the next 15-20 minutes while we do the rest of the preparations. Now coming to the most important step, that is the noodles and eliminating the fishy odor. So these are the noodles that I make and I got these from Amazon. So as you can see, there is a lot of liquid in the noodle packet which is basically what imparts the fishy odor to these. So what I'm going to do is rinse these noodles under running cold water in a colander, and this will basically get rid of all that liquid which had the odor in the first place. So I'm here, you can see me just chopping off all those longer strands of noodles that were there so that it becomes a little easier for me to eat later. Secondly, the next step that I'm going to take is what will get rid of the smell altogether. So after you're done rinsing the noodles under water, in a wok, just transfer those noodles and on high heat, just saute these noodles so that they become absolutely dry. Though we have drained the noodles, there is still some of that liquid clinging onto these noodles. So this step completely eliminates that smell. You want to make these noodles as dry as possible. You can see that there's some water at the bottom of the pan when I move the noodles. So the aim is to evaporate all that liquid so that the noodles become really dry. So we'll just keep cooking these till we see more of that evaporation going on and all the water disappearing completely from the wok. Meanwhile, we'll do the rest of the prep. We'll chop some vegetables. So I've got some button mushrooms here which I'm chopping into smaller pieces. Then I have one green bell pepper which again I'm going to chop into thin strips or smaller pieces, whatever you please. And we have some sliced onions here. Now let's take a look at how our noodles are doing. As you can see, there's a lot of steam in the pan, which means that the water is now quickly evaporating. You want to keep moving the noodles at this point because you don't want the noodles to become lumpy. So just keep them stirring them in the pan, and when the water evaporates, we'll just take them out in a plate, and this is how probably they should look. Now that our noodles are completely cooked, we're just going to take some more aromatics. I have 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, 2 teaspoons of minced ginger, and here I am chopping the white parts of the green onion, and I'll save the green part for later. Now that our ingredients are ready, let's start the cooking. I'm taking the same wok and I'm adding some sesame oil into it and heating it. You can use any oil, but sesame oil just enhances the flavor of this kind of cooking. So I'm just going to add all that chicken that we marinated earlier and just going to cook it till all the juices evaporate and the chicken becomes really tender. So my chicken is done now and I'm just going to take it out in the pan and just save the juices for later use. Now in the same pan, I'm going to add some more sesame oil and let it heat up a little bit. Once it is hot, I'm adding the chopped ginger first. I like the flavor of ginger, but I don't like it when I get a bite of it in my mouth along with other food. So I just like to cook it properly before I add all the other aromatics. So I'm just going to saute the ginger for a few seconds before adding in the chopped garlic as well. It for a little while. Then I've added the sliced onions, and again I'm going to mix everything well and saute these onions till they become a little softer. After sauteing the onions for a few seconds, next I'm going to add the white part of the green onions and then again sauteing it for a couple of minutes till they turn a little pink and translucent. Next I'm going to add the rest of the veggies, the bell peppers and the mushrooms. So after sauteing the vegetables for a few minutes, I'm adding the green part of the spring onions now and again combining everything very well. So this is how you want your mixture to look like before adding the rest of the seasonings. I have here liquid aminos once again, the chili garlic paste and some black pepper powder. So I've added these off camera. If you don't want, you can choose to omit these at this point. Next I've added the chicken that we cooked earlier and mixed everything well together. Now as you know that I like my food very hot, I've added some flaked chilies and some salt. So salt can be put according to your taste since we put liquid aminos earlier. So you want to be careful with the salt. So next I'm adding the noodles and I'll just mix everything very well together such that the noodles and the rest of the mixture is very well combined. And once I'm happy with how the noodles are looking, I'm ready for the next step, which is the last step. So I had saved the green portions of the spring onions earlier. Now I'll just garnish this dish with those spring onions and just lightly mix everything together. And now this dish is perfectly ready to be served. And yeah, you can see how easy it was. It was just a little time consuming because of rinsing of the noodles, but otherwise it's a very easy and a very versatile dish. So I hope you like this recipe, and if you give this a try, please leave me a comment and subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I promise to bring you more awesome content and recipes in the future. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.